Back right here on the bonus round at PAX in Seattle at the LTD Gallery with Peter, Greg, and Nathan. Been having a great talk about the new consoles, independent development, things like that. In this segment, I wanted to talk about the idea of kind of the expectations of gamers and what it's like to develop games today, especially independent games. Because Peter, you and I, when we were talking off camera, I was saying, oh, well, got us when you're done with that, what are you on to next? He's like, no, it's not about that anymore. It's about keeping with the same game and building it over time, and games as a service. We've seen that with League of Legends, Dota, things like that. How does that change how you think about games and creativity when your output may not be as many new ideas as
for me it changes everything, because you're not compartmentalized in thinking, right, I'm going to make this game. I'm 6 months into development, right? That's it. I've got to stop thinking of new ideas, and we're just going to release it, and see how it does. Now you can think about scaling and building and creating and nurturing and taking feedback from people, and that means that you don't think that the day of release is the end. It's the start of development, not the end of development. So as a designer, it completely changes the way I think about it, because I'm thinking and I'm getting excited about what I'm going to be doing in Goddess in 9 months' time or a year's time, rather than tomorrow. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Or is it insanity?
No, you've got your beta now coming up in September. Beta, as you say. Yes.
I'll be on September the 13th. We've gone through this, and this is an interesting example. We released the alpha to our Kickstarter pledges in May, and then we've experimented and played with that and changed it quite a bit. Now we're ready to open up even further, so that's coming out on Steam Early Access on the 13th of September, and then we'll continue to develop it and continue to refine it about what people like and don't like. That's my plug. I've got it in there.
You got it in.
Hurrah! Yes.
But Greg, what's interesting is Tim obviously is known for doing a lot of very directed sort of story games as a linear experience. But you guys are with the Kickstarter, you're going to give people early access to Broken Age and be a part of sort of the to some degree part of the development, at least from the documentaries, and I guess eventually people will get to play it and give feedback. But how do you what Peter says? How do you guys think about that in the world of Double Fine?
Yeah, I think it's just interesting how many options are available to us, and it's things like early access and Kickstarter, and just being able to have a really tight communication line with our fans and being able to hear their feedback on things. We're just trying to continue to open up even further, and we now have massive chalice, which is everything is totally public, and we're getting people are writing code in our forums, people are putting music in there, art, we're in there all the time, like having a conversation and hearing about what direction they think that the game should be going. And so we're able to take that feedback and kind of run with it, which is nice.
Don't you find, and I found this a bit of a challenge to kind of refine, is that the scary thing is that you feel like the game starts to being authored or created by this vast committee. How do you get around that? Because it took a while for me to get my head around.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of people worry that could happen. But I think that our fans bought the game because they want a Double Fine game or a Tim game, and so I think they trust us and want to play the game that we want to make. And I feel like the game is still authored by us. It's just kind of informed by the community. So we're able to put up a piece of art from the game and see what they say and see how they react to it. And ultimately, they're the ones that we want to please eventually anyway. So I think it's more just, you're getting more brains and more ideas that come across your table that then you can decide what you want to do with it.
All right, guys, hold that thought. We're going to be right back here on the bonus round.